Hello everybody. In this video we're going to model our soft jaws for our crank by using both this print and our crank drawing to be able to get the profile and to be able to machine this out. So to get started, let's go to Fusion 360 and we want to open up our data panel. What we'll do first is we'll take our SoftJaw blanks that we created together in our last video and we're going to create an assembly. Now before we can insert our SoftJaw blanks into our file as an assembly, we need to save this file. So what I'll do is I'll call this our I'll call it our Crank SoftJaw. And I already drew this up before, so hopefully it won't give me any errors. I'll just call it 2. And we'll hit save there. And what I want to do to insert this is I right click on our SoftJaw blank and I insert into the current design. And to do this the easiest way, what we want to do is we want to rotate this. So I'm just going to grab that radial right there and I am going to rotate it to that 90 degrees. And we'll press OK. So then I'm going to bring in another one and I'm going to put it right next to it. And then so we'll right click on our SoftJaw blank again, insert into the current design, and this time I'm going to rotate it 90 degrees going the other way. And I'm going to grab this arrow and I'm going to drag it back. And then we'll press OK. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to break the links on this. Right now, if I were to edit any of these, what would wind up happening is we could run into errors and trying to edit that SoftJaw blank. So we want to make sure that these are independent pieces from our SoftJaw blank so that if we do want to continue using the SoftJaw blank to make more SoftJaws, we have a fresh copy for us to be able to use. So I will right click on the first one and I'm going to come down to break link. And I'll do the same thing for the second one. Right click on it, and go down to break link. Alright, we can close that now. And what I want to do is I want to assemble this into a joint. So I'm going to use a joint with our assembly. And for this, I want to select the center face or center of that face right there. You can see there's kind of like your stock box points from when you're running your cam for your work coordinate system. But I'm going to select that one right there. I'll rotate this around and select that one right there. And it will want to bring it all the way together. But if we take a look at our SoftJaw, when we draw this up, we want to make sure that we have an 1/8 inch gap right there, and we can see that right there. So we'll go back to Fusion, and how we drew this up originally, that in between here was Z, so our offset is actually going to be in the Z axis. And that's going to be an offset of 0.125. Then now that we have a perfect 1/8 inch gap there, we can press OK. So the next step that I want to do is I want to be able to create this sketch on top of here and to be able to cut that down. So back to Fusion 360, I want to create a sketch on the top of our part. Now it doesn't matter which one you're going to be selecting because we'll be able to use either of them. They're both at the same height. And before I start, I need to include both of these to be able to get the geometry. So I'm going to come down to Create. I'll go down to Project. And I selected this one to put our sketch on. I need to project the geometry from this one as well as that one and press OK. And what that'll do is it'll allow us to reference some of the geometry from this. So I'm going to select my line, make sure that we use a construction line type, and I'm going to come over and find my center of this top one. And you know it's the center when it snaps to the center of that line and you have a little triangle next to your X. So I'll click there, and I'm going to come on down and I need to make sure that I snap to the center of this line. Now this is very crucial because we want to get the absolute center point of this to be able to put where our cam goes. And we'll go back to the print in just a second. So I'm going to take the center of this and just draw a small horizontal line out, just to make sure that we have a reference. This is going to be the center of our SoftJaws. So we'll go back to this print right here, and we can see that this bottom line right here, which is represented by this line right there, is actually 0.276 or 276 thousandths away from that center line that we just created. So back to Fusion 360, and we are going to change our line type from construction to a regular line, and I'm going to click and drag over, make sure that it's horizontal, and then I'll dimension from there to that line right there. That is going to be 0.276. So we'll go back to our prints, and the rest of this is a little difficult. We don't really have the dimensions for that. So what we want to do is we want to go to our crank drawing. And on our crank drawing, we can see that from this bottom line right here to the center of our circle is actually 1/4 of an inch. So we'll go back to Fusion, and I'm going to create a circle that has a diameter of 1.25, and the diameter, getting ahead of myself, the diameter is this radius, which is 0.625. Multiply that by 2 and you get 1.25. So we'll hit that sketch dimension, and we want to go from this bottom line right here to the center point of that, and that is going to be 0.25. So you can see that it's a little bit offset. And when we draw this, that's going to be not only the center of the circle, but that is also going to be the center of our shaft that goes down there. So we'll come back to our prints, and we're essentially just drawing out this part right here, this top profile. So the last thing that we need for this is we have 2 circles that's going to have a radius of 0.125 that we're going to draw a tangent there, and the same thing right there. So back to Fusion, 2 circles, 0.25 and 0.25, and I will make them tangent to the horizontal line as well as the circle, and same thing for that one. And then we'll be able to come in and trim away all of the lines that we don't need. And when we are done, we have a wonderful profile. So we come back to our prints, and we can see that it is extruded cut down 119 thousandths. So back to Fusion, we can finish that sketch. I'm going to extrude all of this, and it is going to go down -0.119, and that's going to be cut into all of them. The next thing we want to do is create a sketch to be able to cut that shaft all the way down. So what I want to do is I'm going to create a new sketch on the top here, and I want to keep this geometry separate from our first sketch, but I still want to use that center point from our first sketch. So under my sketches, to be able to expand that, you press a little triangle right there. You select the eyeball, which is the visibility, and now I'm able to project that point. And to be able to do that, we go down to Create, Project Include, select Project, and then I want to select that center point right there. And then I can hide that first sketch. And on this sketch right now, I have that center point. So what I'll do then is I'm going to come back to the print. We can see that that has a diameter of 0.375, and that it is going to be extruded down from the top 0.894. So we'll create a center diameter circle from that center point. It's going to be 0.375 or 3/8 of an inch in diameter. We'll finish that sketch, and as a reminder, it's 0.894 deep. So we'll extrude, cut that down negative 0.894. We'll press OK. The final thing that we want to do is we want to ease these corners a little bit. If we take a look at our prints, go to the SoftJaw, we have a radius of 1/8 of an inch in these places right there. So we'll go back to our SoftJaw. The final thing that we want to do and we'll select we want to ease these corners a little bit. I want if we take a look at our prints, that edge, SoftJaw, we have a radius of 1/8 of an inch in these places right and there. All four of those, so we'll go back to our SoftJaw model, a 0.125 and we'll select a fillet, and that's going to be I want to select just a little bit easier to fit our part in there. That edge, we'll press OK. That edge, and that edge, and all four of those completes the CAD portion of this model. Make sure that we save it on that. And that's going to be, in our next video, just a little bit show you how to create our cam for those. What we'll do is we'll press OK. And that completes the CAD portion of this model. Make sure that we save. And in our next video, we'll show you how to create our cam for this.